Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dylan. So, a little while ago, my friend Jason and I made a podcast about what does it mean to grow up Indonesian American, and it's for our organization, the Association of Indonesian Americans at UCLA. And I decided to just clip out a little bit of it where we talk about our favorite food, and I hope you all enjoy. And if you want to listen to the whole podcast, I have a link to our SoundCloud link in the description below. Yes, we are now SoundCloud podcasters. Let's get it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking about the United States, okay, on to our next segment.
All right. So, that was a spicy transition. All right. So, our next section of this podcast will be an all-encompassing question of what was it like growing up as Indonesian American, but we'll just break it down a little bit. So, yeah, so our first question, because it's a really simple question, and I think I've got it many times. What is your favorite Indonesian food? And I'll go first. So, I'd say ayam mentega because the first time that I got it, it was pretty good. It was like crunchy chicken, so it was like Popeyes, alright, but they had honey on it. They had all this different sauce on it, and then I had some rice with it, like nasi putih, and then I had that, and just those two things together were really good, and especially the one from Wang Java in Alhambra because that's where I got it. There's other versions of ayam mentega we've made it at home during the quarantine, and when we first made it, I thought, why isn't it crunchy? Why isn't it breaded and stuff? But there are different versions. Like you can just put chicken breasts and then and cut it up and then put a bunch of sauce on it. But I personally like it when it's crispier. Also, another thing that I like is durian. And I actually like when I was young, all right, when I was young, I didn't like durian. Like when I was like 4 or something, I specifically remember the first time I smelled it and I thought something died and and I thought, "Oh my goodness. What the
Yeah, durian. I am
Yeah.
I am still not a fan of durian. I don't
Really?
know. My mom is kind of a fan, but because we had durian in like Indonesian class, and
Oh yeah.
Brew literally, yeah, it smelled like durian for like the entire hour, and I was
Oh,
dying.
yeah. Wait, let me. Okay. Okay, so actually, like in high school, in my junior year of high school, I brought like durian crackers to school, right? And then we were in class, and then like someone smelled it or something, and my teacher smelled it, and they thought it was a gas leak. Like they thought that there was gas leaking from somewhere, and it was causing her to pass out or something. So they brought in the whole like custodian team to like figure out what was going on, and we were like evacuated from my classroom. And then I really
No.
think it was the durian crackers because like there was nothing after we left, and like I mean after we evacuated it and like I brought my crackers outside, um they they were like, oh, there's nothing, doesn't seem to be anything. And then
Oh my
everyone
god.
was just looking at me because in this class my teacher was pretty cool, like she let us eat because I think it was like right before lunch, or either it was right before lunch or it was in the morning where I wouldn't eat because breakfast was hard to do when you're rushing to high school and stuff. Um
Fact.
but yeah, it that was a pretty weird experience because I think like most of my friends who saw it, like saw me having the durian crackers out, like they're I mean they're also Asian, they know what durian is, right? But like they um they were thinking, dang, did our teacher really just like evacuate the class because of some durian crackers? uh
I should have done that during high school, but
oh man, no, I didn't mean to
lost.
do that, but
Lost.
yeah, but yeah, also like people from Indonesia, they who were born in Indonesia and like grew up there, and whenever I met them, like whether it be my cousin or like my relatives and such, when they ask me like, do you like durian, and then I say, yes, I do. Like, I I can take it now because like before, I kind of think about it like spicy food because before I wasn't really good at eating spicy food. Like I would just drink a bunch of milk after eating like one hot Cheeto, right? I would drink a cup of milk or something. But now I can get some sambal, like I can just douse everything with sriracha, all right?
Everything in like Indonesian, like the Indonesian
Is
food is like generally spicy, right? So you
yeah.
kind of have to get used to
Yeah,
spicy.
exactly. So I think it was kind of the same for me for durian. So like I started with the durian smoothie, and then the durian ice cream, and then the crackers, and eventually I got to the fruit. So so that was a gradual process as well. But yeah, when people from Indonesia ask me if they like durian, and I say yeah, they're really they like say, oh gitu. Like they're like, really, you do? Because I guess it's they think that Americans, or like their perspective of Americans or Indonesian Americans, is that they didn't grow up where I grew up. They didn't grow up in the uh it's like how your parents say, oh, back in my day, or my mom never said that, but like like that the idea of people saying back in my day this was that. So um I guess a lot of people think, oh, Indonesian Americans aren't gonna eat Indonesian food because they're just gonna eat burgers. They're gonna eat some fries and stuff. At least that's what people have told me. They thought, oh, I thought you just ate like this other stuff, not actual Indonesian food. So yeah, there is that sort of divide in terms of like food, because Indonesian food in Indonesia is a lot better than Indonesian food here. But actually, there's a lot of good restaurants here actually that I would highly recommend. Uh, Hopefully they have takeout during this time. But
Long
yeah,
Java has takeout.
Guangzhou. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember hearing about that. But yeah, it's slowly growing though. I only know a few restaurants, and I found it really crazy that like when we talked about the different Indonesian restaurants, that I knew all those restaurants because I grew up in Monterey Park, and most of those restaurants are in the San Gabriel Valley. So
Yeah, San
yeah.
Gabriel Valley is so good. Like in San Fernando Valley, we have literally no Indonesian restaurants at all. Like the closest one we have is Simpang Asia, which
Mhm.
is like near UCLA, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like basically in that general area, which is it's good. I would say like it kind of lost its like traditional Indonesian food, but I mean I'd still go there and everything. But I think the best Indonesian restaurant are definitely in the 66. I enjoy Borneo. I enjoy
Oh
Wang
yeah,
Java. Yeah, and
yeah,
yeah, it's super interesting just to see like, but it makes sense. 66, I feel like, is a huge Asian enclave, and
hmm,
so it makes sense why there's like Indonesian restaurants there.
yeah, dude. Oh, Borneo was like where I went to after school, basically, because once
Oh,
I
good.
yeah once I got a car, or actually no, not once I got a bike. So it was actually in Alhambra, and I lived at Monterey Park, and I would bike like a mile or like a mile and a half to go to the library in Alhambra, because the Alhambra library is pretty nice, and I would do like my homework and stuff. And then some days, if I wanted to treat myself, I would go to Borneo and just like get some. I forgot what I would get, but it's this really specific food. It has nasi in it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, that was my after school hangout spot on some special days and stuff. But yeah, what's your favorite Indonesian food, Jason?
Honestly, I'm so basic. I think it has to be rendang or like ayam penyet. Ayam penyet dari sorry, ayam penyet from I think Wang Java is super good. I mean, I do like the spice of like Wang Java. I think like the cook there is like super awesome. So like
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because she used to be a helper. She used to be a mamanduan. So it's like,
yeah, my mom
that's
told
like,
me about that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
her husband's a mechanic and everything, helps her out from time to time. So yeah, she's doing the work. So I always enjoy her like halal rendang. And it's just a super super comfort food, like that beef stew. And I like it even better when it's spicy and everything. But I don't know. I used to grow up not liking or like wanting American food, and maybe that's just a sign of like trying to fit in. But like very much so, like when I went to high school and everything, you always have that appreciation for like, um, I guess like the food of like um, your native homeland for sure. Like for me, I always enjoy. I forgot what it's not mun tofu. Is it mun tofu? Where it's like you have like the tofu and the like chicken ground or like ground chicken with like onions and everything. Francine and I talked about this. Francine, our external vice president, talked about this. She said it was easy to make and everything. Um, yeah, that's always been my favorite as well. So it's just like, you know, that Chinese Indonesian fusion food, but also just like the, I guess, the traditional one that everybody talks about specifically, rendang. And I think like, I don't know about you, but when I bring my non-Indonesian friends to eat at Indonesian restaurants, they're always like, "Wow, this is much spicier than I thought," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, I'm not aware. So, I think one of the things I'm really proud of is, the spice tolerance that I just grew up with and everything. So, yeah, long story short, rendang is always going to be my favorite Indonesian food, comfort level wise. But you're right, it's so much better in Indonesia than here. But I think like any Indonesian restaurant here is like a good introduction to like
Yeah.
what it can be.
Yeah, that um yeah, it's really hard to get the authenticity down, but yeah, I agree like people would not know about Indonesian food if these restaurants didn't exist. So, it's really great that these restaurants exist and everything. But yeah, also on that part about like bringing your non-Indonesian friends to um Indonesian restaurants and like having them try Indonesian food. Uh, most of my friends, at least in high school, were Asian. So when I would bring them there, they'd be like, ah, this is just another walk in the park or something, you know. So so it wouldn't be too crazy for them, but the spice is definitely different than most foods. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's something about like Indonesian food. It's like there's just a lot of like, there's like the nuttiness because we love to use peanuts and
Oh yeah.
everything. Oh my gosh, and there's just a lot of like different spices. I mean, even way back when people always use Indonesia as like a spice market, which yikes. But at the same time, there are so
It
many
brought all the
spices
spices up there.
available.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.